It is finally Dort has not only returned from the injury reserve, but found his rhythm after a slow shooting start to the season. After missing 5 games with a trap injury to his shooting side, Dort has hit his stride along with the rest of the OKC team, now sitting atop the Western Conference at a pretty 15-1 record. Dort and other key players will be returning from injury and putting this team to full power and capacity. Dort, his injury that he sustained, his shooting splits before and after, and how it is massively different, reminiscent of last year's 3-and-D Lu Dort. So we're going to get into all of that today. This is Gabriel Ebersole with Thunder Digest, where 68% of you guys watching are not subscribed to the channel. Thunder won 68 games last year, their franchise record, first championship in franchise history, and they are set to do an even better pace this year, set to win their back-to-back championship. So make sure you are subbed up so me and Ryan can keep you guys up to date with all your Thunder content all in one place. We're trying to hit 8K by All-Star break, so help us do that. Without any further ado, the man of the hour, Lu Dort, has returned from injury reserve. He was out for 5 games with an injury to his right side shooting side trap muscle, and he and the problem with his early season shooting because he has really rounded into form as of late. This guy has picked up his shooting in the last 3 games that he has been in, all OKC victories, and he is really just each game looking more and more like the guy that we saw last year out there. 3-and-D, premier player in the league, hitting threes and locking down opposing players. You know, he's first team all defense. We know he can do that. But the shooting is something that has always been a bit streaky, but he usually rounds out pretty well. Thunder's Lu Dort to return from shoulder injury 3 games ago against the Hornets. According to Thunder Wire's Clemente Alamanza, 2025 All-Defensive First Team winner Lu Dort will be returning to the team's lineup on Saturday against the Hornets. He's 26 years old, labeled as the Thunder's defensive anchor, and through the 7 games to begin the season, he was only averaging 7.1 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 1 steal. And they also noted that he hasn't been able to get his shot to be consistent, and then noted that the upper trap strain to his shooting shoulder that kept him out of the past 5 games could be the reason behind this. And it looks like it might just have been the reason behind it because Lu Dort has picked it up massively recently. We're taking a look at his game log since he came back. This is what he's played in November, right? So the game he gets injured against the Clippers, only played 15 minutes before exiting. He shot 1 for 3 from the three-point land. And then he goes on this injury reserve break. 11 days off, getting his body right, getting his mind right from this early season shooting slump. And this guy comes back really solid. He plays 22 minutes, probably on a load management of sorts, against the Charlotte Hornets, shoots 1 for 2 from the 3 there. But then 2 days later against New Orleans, that's whenever he starts to catch fire. He shoots 4 for 6 from the 3 in this game, and it was his first really big shooting game of the season in which he hit a lot of threes and at a high, consistent, efficient rate. So we're happy to see that. And then last night's win against the Kings, the 3rd time we beat the Kings so far this early season. Lu Dort, again, a big part of that. 5 for 10 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. This guy is going to need to hit three-pointers at this consistent volume clip if OKC is going to repeat. This is a team that was struggling early season to just shoot the 3 ball in general as a whole squad, and something that they have picked up on as of late without Lu Dort. And now that he's returning to the lineup, we're seeing that consistency follow through with him as well. Very encouraging for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Further proving the splits before and after the injury, his 6 games in October, shooting 5.5 threes a game, 18% for Lu Dort. That is putrid, that is garbage, that is terrible and unacceptable. Then we see him come back in November, and he is shooting over 50% on 4.8 attempts, 52.6, much like the Lu Dort that we're used to seeing, 48% from the field. This is the Lu Dort that Thunder fans are going to have to see all year. This rounds out to him shooting about 31% at the moment right now for the season, but it's on the increase. It's on the rise, and we're expecting it to continue going up. This is something that we have seen before with Lu Dort, though, because when we take a look at this guy's shooting last year, the thing I want to point out is the home road splits that he shoots from 3, right? We're seeing at home 6.5 threes a game, 44.6%. That is among the league's best. 44.6% from 3 is elite 3-point shooting, and that was across the totality of the whole season last year from home. But then you're comparing it to what he did on the road. At 5 threes a game, he was shooting 35.2%, which is very average to a little bit below average across the league, and that was 33 road games versus 37 home games. So Lu Dort, across a big sample size of last season, we know he's a very streaky shooter. He shoots those moon balls that go up, and they're either money or they're clanking, right? Last year, he was hitting a lot of money at home, clanking on the road, and this year we're going to see a little bit of difference in that. And the last thing I wanted to point out from last year was after 3 days rest, this guy was shooting 28.2% from 3 after games that had 3 days rest. So this guy is someone who usually does not benefit from these long days off, from these long stretches of being off. He's a guy who needs to be in his rhythm to be shooting at his best. And this is something that is not carried over into this year because we're taking a look at the same splits for this season. The home shooting percentage from three, 7 attempts a game, 22% from the three-point land. Then you look at the road stats, 4 attempts a game. He's shooting 40%, which is right around, that elite mark, is that 40% mark and above. And he's able to clip that on the road this year. So a complete flip from last year whenever he was really sparking threes at home and then struggling on the road a little bit. This year, his hot streaks have been coming on the road, which was, where we played most of these games coming since he's returned from injury, so that does play into that. And then you still see, after these 3 days rest, he's shooting 15.4%. So a guy who is just very interesting to look at, the just streakiness of his shooting, how he gets hot, how he gets cold, and it's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on as fans as this season progresses. Because for us to be in peak postseason form, Lu Dort is going to have to be hitting threes. We saw this team struggle to hit threes a little bit last postseason, especially for stretches. It let the Pacers, it let the Nuggets extend the series against us all the way out to 7. So for us to be able to really capitalize early opportunities this season and in the postseason, we're going to need Lu Dort at his best, and we're going to need it a little bit more consistently out of him than it's been in the past, and then it's been so far to start this season. Still encouraging signs, though, because when we take a look at his whole stats, 30.5 minutes a game, 8.5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and assists and a half. A lot of .4s to end his numbers there. Over a stock a game, and then you see the shooting percentages not where they need to be at 36.5 and then 31 from the three. This is a guy who has just got to find his rhythm. You see 16% on corner threes this year. I expect that to go up. I'd be very surprised if it stayed anywhere near that low as the season progressed. But all in all, we're seeing Lu Dort's numbers need to take a rise, and they're on the right track. They are. So we're not too concerned as fans by this, and especially when we take a look at how OKC is projecting in general, because this was a team that through the first October of the season was 29th in three-point percentage, and they were shooting 29% from the three-point. So it goes hand in hand. They were very, very below the average in the league. And this is the current stats for the three-point shooting, and they're at 34.3%. 21st in the league, still not around their mark last season where they were shooting 38% from the three as a team, but it's on the rise. You even see the team, the Detroit Pistons, that is 20th. They have a second-best record in the association as well. So they are still shooting a serviceably well from the three-pointer to win, but for them to really be able to stretch these leads and go on these runs and to not let the postseason get them the way it did last year whenever teams are really closing the gap with the three-pointer, we're going to have to see this still rise into the top half of the league, the top 10 of the league. And last year we were 6th, so hopefully I hope we finish in the top 10 this year. I think it's very feasible to do that, returning much of the same roster. And Lu Dort heating up is going to be a part of that. Staying consistent is going to be a big part of that. Continuing to take a look at this chart over here, we're seeing teams like the Lakers that are below us in three-point shooting. We're seeing teams such as the Dallas Mavericks and the Pacers that are really struggling at the bottom. So a lot of the standings go hand in hand with these three-point percentages and how teams are shooting from beyond the arc. And the Thunder and the Pistons have really been exceptions to this rule as of early. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this up throughout the whole season. So this number is going to have to rise. Lu Dort coming back. J-Dub's going to be coming back pretty soon. A lot of guys are going to be returning from injury, really stabilizing this unit. And I think that's going to play into them increasing from the three-pointer. Lu Dort was the first guy to come back after missing 5 games, and he set the precedent of coming back with the hot hand. So we'll see how long he can keep us up for, if he can really be a more stable three-point shooter, consistent three-point shooter as the year goes on. Just something to keep an eye on. It's been Gabriel Ebersole breaking down the three-point shooting of Lu Dort, his ascension since he's returned. And make sure you sub up so you can catch me and Ryan in the next one. I'll catch you guys then. Peace.